Hi everybody, Arbitrage here, and if you want to see more videos about selling on Amazon and e-commerce issues, then please go ahead and click on the subscribe button below and hit the thumbs up so you can get alerts every time I put up a new training video. You can also find me on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/DealDiva, and today we're going to talk about how to transition from arbitrage, that's retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, to wholesale as an Amazon seller. So if you like what you see, you can go ahead and join DealDivaWholesale.com. I've got a free newsletter on there you can sign up for, and once a week I send out an alert giving you some information about what's happening in the world of Amazon sellers and the world of Amazon, and give you some inspiration so it's easier, hopefully, to build your wholesale business. So here is a Post-it note I've got on my refrigerator. It says, "Give up the good for the great." Now, when I first started selling on Amazon, I started like a lot of people with retail arbitrage, and I would go from store to store. I bought a minivan, I tore the seats out, and I hooked up a little trailer I bought at an auction to it. And I would drive around from store to store to store, Walgreens, CVS, big box stores, Walmart, Target, you name it. And I would be scanning the stores and fill up carts and fill up the minivan and come home and unload all this stuff into my living room. In fact, the fourth quarter in 2015, when I started Amazon, I actually sold my living room furniture. I sold my couches in order to make room to do this business, to grow this business. And I did really well in my fourth quarter, and fourth quarter means the last 3 months of the year, which is a very large selling system for online sellers. But at the end of that, December 25th, I barely even knew my own name. I was so tired. As most of you know, if you're doing retail arbitrage, you're laying stuff out and using a Scotty peeler and prepping things and printing out FNSQ labels and putting them on and creating shipments to different fulfillment centers, and oh my gosh, right? So I knew at the end of that year, going into January of 2016, that there had to be a better way, and that I needed to give up the good, what was working for me, which was retail arbitrage at the time, sort of, in order to transition into something that would work great. Now, another thing I knew is that I wanted to build a business that was more sustainable and scalable, and by that, I mean it can grow without me having to work harder. In fact, I was finding that the less I worked when I transitioned to wholesale, the faster and bigger my business grew, because I wasn't the bottleneck in my business anymore. So I have this little Post-it note on my refrigerator called "Give up the good for the great" to remind me when I start to do things over and over again that are playing small, so that I can give those things up to leave room in my world and business and universe for greater things to be accomplished. So brand restrictions. Back in 2016, Amazon started really locking down with brand restrictions. Now, what I mean by that is more and more brands are restricting how many people and who can sell their products on Amazon. So I got a really big wake-up call that summer. I had just started in a wholesale, and Amazon had just started putting on their brand restrictions. So it was kind of a perfect storm. And I bought a pallet of Pokemon toys. And when it was one of my first wholesale buys, and when I had first checked out the product, they were great. It was just a couple of SKUs, I think it was 4 SKUs, and they were selling really well, limited competition, and I wasn't restricted. And I was like, woohoo, this is awesome. So as we're headed into fourth quarter, I double down and I buy this whole pallet. And I get it in my garage, and I'm tearing it open, and I go to scan one of those products again in order to list it, and boom, the app tells me in big red arrows, restricted. I can no longer sell this. Now, this is first when they were putting on brand restrictions, so it was kind of the Wild West. They hadn't really decided how they were going to roll out these restrictions. So I took one big gulp. I had invested thousands of dollars into that pallet, and I was like, man, this is kind of scary. What am I going to do? And I waited about 3 weeks, and then I scanned them again, and the restriction was no longer on it. So I quickly prepped them, sent them in, boom, they sold out quickly, and I didn't replenish those. But that was the wake-up call for me, that I needed to find a way to source smarter, understand Amazon's restrictions, understand more what brands need, so that I could meet the needs of brands in order to get them to accept me as a seller on their products on Amazon. So the writing was on the wall, and that's when I decided I not only had to get better at sourcing wholesale, but I had to get smarter about how I communicated and connected with brands. So let's take a look at the true cost of retail arbitrage. Now, look, I've been there. I know how much fun it can to be go shopping. It's kind of like, retail therapy. It can be fun. I started as a thrifter like a lot of you folks did too. But again, it came back to what kind of business did I want to build? And I decided pretty early on in my Amazon journey that I wanted to build a business that would give me the lifestyle, that would support the lifestyle that I wanted, which was all about having freedom. Now, I mean freedom of my time, freedom of working where I want and when I want, freedom of living my life and enjoying my life without my business stalling to a halt while I was off traveling, etc. So I did some numbers, and that helped me bridge the gap mentally between going from arbitrage sourcing and wholesale. So let's take a look at the true cost of retail arbitrage, the hidden costs that maybe we gloss over or don't want to pay attention to until somebody brings it to our attention. And then we can see how expensive it really is for us. Even though the margins appear to be bigger, the cost of time invested into retail arbitrage is so great that you might agree with me that moving to wholesale is a more sustainable model. So here's the true cost of retail arbitrage. First, you have to spend time in this low-level job and task of de-stickering and labeling and hoping you don't tear the boxes. And if you do, then you're stuck with this product that you can't send into Amazon. You have to pack and ship, which means you have to create shipping plans that could go to any number of different fulfillment centers. And then the time and the energy into putting together the, making sure that you've got the right products in the right boxes to the right fulfillment centers so that you don't get dinged by Amazon when they go to unpack those and what you tell them is in those boxes is actually not correct. The gas and the wear and tear in your vehicle, driving around from store to store to store, the scalability, it is just not a scalable model. Now, I say that with a caveat that you could hire a team of people. You could hire a team of high school kids or young or older teenagers who have the ability to drive to go from store to store to store to store and pick up your product for you. But you're limited by how much time they have. You have to pay them for it. You have to hope that they follow your instructions. And you're limited by how much stock each store has. So let's say you have the capability of selling 300 units of a product every month. But if you're doing arbitrage, you can only source 30 or 40 units of that a month. So you can't scale. Even with the team, you can't scale. And then the time, the biggest and only non-replenishable asset we have, and the most valuable, I believe. So if your time is spent searching stores for a product that you can sell, that maybe there's 6 of them in stock, that is just not the most efficient use of your time as an Amazon seller. And this is what I did. I put down a spreadsheet and I put in how much time I was spending each month, everything from, or each week, I'm sorry, I started with, from when I first got into that van to go driving around and then stopping for lunch, stopping for gas, and then unloading the van and the aches and pains sometimes that involved unloading the van and all of the prep that had to go into those products and then the shipping and then loading the boxes back up, sending them to FedEx or UPS. And the numbers just didn't work for me to create a scalable business that supported the lifestyle that I wanted. So one of the uses of retail arbitrage, and this is how you can fit retail arbitrage still into your wholesale business, is that when you go into a store, you can still scan. And then when you find a product that is really awesome, what you do is you turn it over and you look at the box, and it will tell you on the box who the manufacturer of that product is. And then you can use that lead to actually go to the manufacturer, request to set up a wholesale account, talk to them, take a look at what they're listing on Amazon looks like and what other products they have on Amazon, and get a feel and an understanding for what's important to that company and how you can add value to their presence on Amazon. And you can contact them directly based on what you found when you were out doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage. So you can use RA and OA to do a little bit of due diligence on products to prove that they do well, but then use the information that's on the back of that product to go find the manufacturer, the supplier, the brand owner, and sign up for a wholesale account to take it to the next level. Okay, building a wholesale business is very much a numbers game. So in retail arbitrage, we can go to a store, we can go in and scan, and boom, we have a product in our hand that we can then send to Amazon. With wholesale, you have to, there's a much larger numbers game. So you have to make daily and weekly goals of how many brands, how many products you're going to research, how much time you're going to spend on Amazon using tools like Jungle Scout or Helium 10 or Viral Launch, using the industry tools to identify products that sell consistently on Amazon month in and month out. So it's a numbers game, and you can actually outsource that, which frees up your time, which we talked about as being the most valuable asset in your business, your time. So you can outsource and delegate the searching based on a set of criteria for those products. And then the more products you have in your pipeline, the more brands you will have to potentially research. And then the number of brands researched, a certain percentage of them will actually convert to brands that will allow you to sell their product. So it's not like retail arbitrage where you can go in, find a product, and then sell all of those products. With wholesale, let's say you were to make a goal to research for 500 products a month or 300 products a month, and out of those products, there's maybe 100 brands represented. And out of those 100 brands that you contact, maybe you get an approval for 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 of those brands. And the more products and brands you put in the top of that funnel, of that pipeline, the more yeses you will get on the back end. And your job as a business owner is to get really, really good at negotiating with brands, talking to brands, understanding what's important to brands, so that you can get on the phone and you can call that owner of that brand with confidence and talk to them about how you can help them increase their sales and improve their presence on Amazon. And as a business owner, that is the most valuable asset that you can learn, is how to negotiate and develop relationships with these brand owners. And you can outsource the data mining for the top end of that funnel, I'm calling it, where you're putting in products, you're putting in contact leads, and you can outsource the data mining of that so you can approach wholesale sourcing with a very systematized process of which you can delegate a lot of, in order to focus on what you do best, which is going to be actually selling the brand on yourself as an Amazon seller. So you want to set yourself apart from the competition when you're contacting these brands. And the way to do that is to understand what a value proposition is. And a value proposition is when you can identify what the problems that a brand's products have on Amazon. Maybe there's listings that have not been optimized. There are too many sellers breaking map. There are really bad images. They're still selling, but the listing could be optimized to the point where it's making a lot more sales for that brand owner. So it's your job to understand what an optimized listing looks like, what value propositions, what things you can offer a brand to help them improve their image on Amazon. And then bundling. So being able to understand how you can make more sales, help a brand owner make more sales by bundling certain things, maybe multiple of his products together, or products outside of their catalog with their products, to create bundles that are on unique listings that you can sell more of their base products with by bundling and adding value through bundles. And then partnering with suppliers to send your product directly to Amazon accounts. I started doing this about 18 months ago with significant success, only with the suppliers that I have developed relationships with, and we have consistent sales together. I've helped them improve their listings. They're to the point where they'll contact me first when they have a product coming in, or when they have a SKU coming in they know sells well for me, so they'll contact me first. So I've developed that relationship ahead of time. And then I get to the point where I say, hey, look, it's costing me money to ship these products twice, one to me or my prep center, and then on to Amazon. How about I teach your staff, somebody on your team or in your shipping team, how to send my products directly into my Amazon account for me. And I've had very good success with, and it wasn't a matter of convincing these brands to send it in. They were happy to do so because I had created sales for them. We had a relationship already, and it was very win-win. So that's one of the things that you can learn, you can move into as you start sourcing wholesale and getting really good with creating a connection with brand owners. So wholesaling allows you to scale fast. So you can leverage your successful ASINs that you're already, I suggest you go through your RA catalog, go into your Amazon inventory and look at the products that you have sourced, retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, that have done really well for you, and then leverage those into wholesale deals. So find out who the manufacturer is, contact them, tell them you're already selling your product and that you would like to now purchase a higher volume from them to sell directly on Amazon. And then I'll focus on small and mid-sized brands. Instead of right out of the gate going for giant brands on Amazon that are very well known, I like to help smaller brands and small to mid-sized brands understand how I can help them sell more product on Amazon. And I'll also have less competition from the Amazon sellers who are going after the bigger brands. And then I also like to focus on niche markets. So I like to build out an understanding of a specific niche in order to go after brands that sell to that niche, because then I can say to them, hey, look, I understand the target market for your products. In fact, I can tell them that I carry products from other brands, other companies that sell to that same market. And that creates an immediate connection that it shows them I have an interest in their products, an interest in their market, and an understanding of the niche that they sell to, which again, all feeds back to creating a relationship with that brand owner, which I believe should be the most important job of anybody who's sourcing wholesale. So I invite you to join my Wednesday wholesale newsletter. Every Wednesday I send out a newsletter. Go to freewholesalenewsletter.com, and I drop nuggets in there about what's happening in Amazon's world. What are some of their plans? What's happening in the news? And then I also drop information about educational conferences I have coming up, where I'm speaking, or webinars. I hold a lot of web classes. Also, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Click the thumbs up button saying that you like this video, and also click the get alerts every time I put up a video. So every time I do a web class or a training like this one, which is fairly often, you'll get an alert in your email so you can come watch it, be one of the first to watch it. You can join me on Facebook and ask any questions you want about e-commerce selling on Amazon. Go to facebook.com/groups/dealdiva. And then you can, again, subscribe to my videos by hitting the subscribe videos on YouTube. And I will see you guys. I'm Barbara Drazga. I will see you guys in the Facebook group. And good luck selling on Amazon. Happy to support you any way I can. And remember to dream big. Talk to you soon.